Hi and welcome to the instructional video of Virtual Drum Electro Pro version 1.2. Made quite a few changes to the software and I'm just going to walk you through how it works now. In this section here you'll see the numbers 1 to 20. These correspond to the channels. There's 20 channels in Virtual Drum Electro Pro and you access the channels by just simply clicking on the buttons. Okay, now this is how you locate your sound card. Just click in here and then here we can turn it on or off. We can choose the sound card we wish to use or send to rewire. The rewire at the moment is just stereo. You can send through a stereo channel to any rewire host. I will be making a full rewire version. This is just a standalone version. The full rewire version will allow MIDI information, tempos and things like that to come from the rewire host as well. But as I say, I'll be making that at a later date. That would still be two different bits of software. And here we can choose as vector sizes. Vector sizes help with the latency and things like that. So if when you open up Virtual Drum you find you've got a bit of latency, just play about with the vector sizes and should be able to sort that out. And here we've got the sample rate. Do try and keep it at 44.1 as most of the samples will be releasing will be in, well, all of the samples will be releasing, they'll be in 44.1. Okay, so we just close that now. Now this is the channel stage. In this bit you've got pan. Just click there, brings it back to the center. You've got your volume for the channel. This tells you what sample you've got loaded up. As you can see, it says no sample loaded. And you can mute here. And then this is where you turn the channel on. You must turn the channel on in order to load samples or anything like that. What happens when you turn the channel on is it loads up the buffer. By keeping the buffers out until you actually want to use the channel, it helps reduce CPU and keeps it running fast. So we'll turn the channel on and then click here to load a sample. So I've just got a few samples here and we'll go to Prim Loop. Okay, so we've got that loaded up, and the way Virtual Drum works is you can either trigger it through a MIDI instrument. If you've got a MIDI instrument, you click here and you click set pad, and then you hit a pad on your MIDI instrument, a key on your MIDI keyboard. If at all you want to change it or you want to clear the channel settings to a pad or a MIDI keyboard, just click clear pad. I've not got a MIDI keyboard plugged in at the minute, but that doesn't matter because Virtual Drum can also be triggered using your QWERTY keyboard, the keyboard of your desktop computer or laptop computer. For channel 1 it's Q.
With a party at, I need some of that primitive action. Give me that bass, give me that kick drum. Keep me loose like Valium. If you
Okay. Number 2 is W, 3 E, 4 is R, 5 is T, and so on until you get along your keyboard until the 20 channels run out. So yeah, so then in this stage here, this is where you have your granular synthesis. When that's not turned on,
with a party at, I need some of that primitive action. Give
just
me
turn
that
it
bass,
down a
give me
little
that
bit
kick
so I can
drum.
talk over the
Keep me
top.
loose like Valium.
Yeah, when the granular's not turned on, the triggers work as a normal drum module would. So if we go into channel 2, turn that on and load in a single hit. We'll have a snare somewhere. There we go. So this is W now to trigger on the QWERTY keyboard. Now when you're hitting fast like that, what's happening is for each channel, when it's not on the granular stage, it has 5 voices, and then voices sort of overlap a little bit. to allow the hits to sound natural if you're using single drum hit sounds. So if we go back to the one that's a sort of loop and not a single drum hit sound, you'll see that the more you hit it, you get repeats of that going. So when you're dealing with sounds that aren't drum sounds, not single hits, you're much better off to go into the granular stage. Now, before you turn granular stage on, I would advise that you just grab a little bit of the granular, a bit of the waveform, sorry. You can do that by just clicking here and then grabbing a bit. The reason to do that is when you turn it on, it keeps the waveform sort of the same size. What happens if you don't do it is the screen that here, this bit that the waveform is in, it magnifies up to a massive amount. The way you sort of magnify on it is to click on the hand tool, and if you click on the waveform and push up, it magnifies out, pull down, it magnifies in, and then you can actually, when you magnifies in, sorry, when you push up, and out when you push down. When you magnified in and you move left and right, you can sort of like access different parts of the waveform. Well, see different parts of the waveform. So if we just grab this little bit of waveform here out of the loop and hit Q, now see that we're just playing that little bit that was selected. Now here, if you see link, you can link to tap tempo, link to selection, or have freehand. If we link to selection, the length of the note will change depending on the amount we've selected. If we have it on freehand, we can then click here and turn it, push up to higher the number, or pull down to reduce the number. Or you can simply type in a number, so 2575 we'll say, click away from the number box, and then from one hit it will play a length of 2 seconds, 575 milliseconds. So again, we'll go back to the section selected, just 235, and now we can have a look at some of the functions within granular. We've got pitch. Now when you pitch, it still plays the same length of note at the milliseconds, so it'll play the number of times more. If you do want to pitch it up and then just have it so it's only playing once, go to freehand and just reduce the size of the note until it works. So, as you can hear, there's a little cut out there, or a clip. You can get rid of that by going into up here where it says granular. If you go to amp envelope, see you've got an envelope here. So if you grab one of the points, we'll just reduce that down there. So now it's got rid of the clip. This allows us to make any kind of amp envelope we want. You can add as many points, and to delete a point you just click the shift button down and click on the point and it deletes it. Okay, so just go back to the granular. Okay, again we'll just link back to the section selected. Zoom out a little bit, and then if we click on here, this allows us to make the section that we've selected bigger by pushing up, and pulling down makes it smaller. So we'll grab the full bit and we'll go back to the normal pitch. Now we're on selection. We're linked to selected. So here now we can. We'll just go to half note and it'll only play. So it only played half of the sample there. We'll go back to full note. And we will now have it on a loop by clicking this bit here. And the track will just loop round now. And change it to a half note. Quarter note. An eighth note. And back to full note. Okay. Now this bit here allows you to go play the sample forwards or play it backwards. So while we're looping, we can then start to mess about and move this around. Back to forwards. So again, we're on this tool here, and we just move that around and it'll play whatever we're sort of doing there. Just take it off loop. Here you can magnify and get a much bigger granular display to be able to play around with. And this little bit here, the control button, if you press on that, you can set control to sweep, and when you've clicked that, and then if you move a knob, a MIDI knob or a MIDI controller or fader, that would then sweep across the full length of your waveform by twisting the knob, increasing the amount on the knob takes it to the right, decreasing takes it to the left. Again, I don't have one plugged in at the minute, so I can't show you that. You can then clear that if you wish to, you know, use that MIDI knob for a different function. You can set the control to the beginning of the selection, which allows you to sort of fine tune the beginning part that you've selected. Again, you can clear that, and then you can set it to the end of the selection in order to fine tune. You can set control to reduce, so then the amount you have selected, if it was like that, would then reduce and go back to the amount as you turn in the knob that you have selected. Like so. And then we have set control to pitch. So again, your MIDI knob would control this pitch wheel here. Again, click pitch there, and that sends it back to its original pitch control. So put it back onto a loop and we'll have it playing. And we'll just bring it up to bigger. Okay, so now if we go to the pitch envelope, here we can now, the way the pitch envelope works, as we keep putting the points in, obviously that changes what it's doing there. It takes it up, higher pitch, lower pitch. Across here, along the, I think which is the Y into it of the X and Y, along the Y, horizontally, is the time. So the time's been split into 8 sections. This allows you to sort of keep things changing in rhythms. And the length of them from there to there corresponds with your length of note that you've got. Set your granular, whether that be one you've set, the amount you've selected. Or, now the final stage, we'll just go back to the pitch here and clear that. That sends it back to its original pitch. Okay, so as you probably saw, we've had linked section selected, freehand, and now we'll look at linked tap tempo. The tap tempo is located here by clicking on this little play sort of icon there, and here it is here. If you click on this button there and tap M in the tempo, you'll see now that it's changed and the tempo has gone to the tempo that I was tapping on, M. That's M for mother on the keyboard. If at all you're using another bit of software, or you're trying to play something on top of a record that you've got playing on a turntable or CD or whatever, and you find that your tempo starts going out of rhythm, if you click N for nudge, that then will nudge the tap tempo. So if I put a much slower tap tempo in for you, so if you watch this button now, I'll nudge it, and then that's then brought the tempo it back in line with whatever you're trying to, whatever you're trying to sync it into. Okay, the stop, play and pause works with effects. You've got certain effects for Virtual Drum Electro Pro that will allow you to, well, effects such as beat steppers or beat mappers. What this each beat mapper for a channel will have a play on itself and a stop. But what this allows you to do is it allows you to stop everything at the same time, and then when you press play, they all start from 1 at the same time, allowing all your channels to be sank in. This isn't doing anything at the minute because I've not got an effect that sort of takes advantage of that open at the minute. But let's have a look now at the effects. So we'll take that loop off. And now click here where it says effects. You'll see that you've got the granular, which we've just been in, direct effects. So you've got, this is where the direct effects are. You can have up to 4 direct effects. So effect 1, effect 2, effect 3, and effect 4. Back to effect 1. If you click on this bit here, this would take you to the website where you can buy further effects from. We do plan on allowing anyone who uses Max MSP, which is the software that the Virtual Drum Electro Pro has been written in, any users of that also to be able to create effects for Virtual Drum. So we hope to see quite a lot of different effects out there for people to be able to purchase, and we'll also be creating a number of effects for it to use as well. Now, how you load an effect is you just click on this folder there, and we'll go to effects, and here we've got a choice of what effects we can load up. We've got automation effects, direct effects, and send effects. Automation effects are, as I say, like 16-beat steppers. We've got a stepper here, and then the grand stepper. I'll open the stepper up and just show you a little bit of what that does. So once we've opened the folder, then everything that's inside that folder is here. With automation effects, you do need to load the correct stepper number into the channel. So we're in channel 1, we need to open up stepper 1. This is only for the automation effects. Direct and send effects, you only need to open, there's just one effect for all the channels, so you can open up just, you'll only see set compressor, and you can open that into any channel. With automation effects, an effect has its own folder, and there's 20 effects per folder corresponding to correct channel. So yeah, always make sure that you load the correct number effects when using automated effects. So with this, how this works is we can have a number of steps here, 1 to 16, and you can set them there. So you could have just 8 steps and it'd only play up to 8 and then start at 1 again, or we can have 16 steps. So we'll have 16 steps. Then if we go to his granular, and we'll just choose a little bit of the sample to be played here. So save that bit, so listen. And we'll go back to his direct effects, and go back to the stepper, and we'll draw in a little rhythm there. Nothing too exciting. So we can press play from here. And you'll see that it triggers that effect. Now if we go back to the tap tempo game, we can adjust the time there by clicking on the milliseconds, moving it up or down. And as I said, if you just press stop here now, it'll stop that and play. If you do it from the transport bar here, it'll stop and play all of the effects, all of the automation effects that you've got loaded into Virtual Drum at the same time, allowing you to sort of, as I said, link all the channels up so that they all play at the right time. And again, we can from each channel stop or play at any point, and that just corresponds to the effect that you're actually on. Again, we can save the effect from here, give it a name, and then if we open up in another channel or another effects, well, another stepper to another a stepper to another channel, we can then have the same settings in that channel. Okay, so press play, and again we can split the notes up, the BPM, 8 notes, quarter notes, half notes, full notes, and so on, all the way up to times 8. Okay, so if we went to effect 2, effects, automation effects, and this time we'll have grand stepper. We'll open up the grand stepper here. Again, channel 1, so we need grand stepper 1. It's an automation effect. Now that's just here, it's just changed the sound there. The reason that is because it's just grabbed to note. So just grab another bit again. Okay. If we turn on 1 here, and then go back to the granular, and then just choose a nice bit there. Back to the direct effects, turn off 1 and put in 2, turn on 2, and then we'll move the granular. Turn that one off. So if we took that all the way down to 16, choosing bits of granular off for it, we could then set the steps to 16 or 8 or whatever we want. With this, we'll just set it to 2, and we'll just go between the 2 that we just selected. So once we turn it on, so it's taking from the stepper, which is starting to play, and then the grand stepper then switches between the bits of granular that you've chosen. Stop that there. The grand stepper will still work when you're hitting a pad or hitting your QWERTY keyboard. Okay, and then if we go to Direct Effects again, just show you some of the others we've got. Effects 3, and we'll go to the Direct Effects here. And in Direct Effects, we at the minute have compressor and an equalizer. Equalizer has four different equalizers, but I'll be making videos for each effect separately. But this is sort of how you load them in. So with the direct effects, the non-automated ones, as I say, you can load up equalizer, just the equalizer. You don't have to look for equalizer 1, equalizer 2, and so on. You just open up the one into any of the channels, and then we have the send effects. Send effects opens up in another box so that you can keep that sort of like out of the way, move things around a bit like so. And then if you go to the send effects here, again works in the same way. Send 1 to 4, and we'll choose an effect, so we'll go to send effects. Okay, and then have a look at what send effects we've got in here. Equa reverb, so we'll have a look at the reverb. Okay, put that again. Get that playing. Okay, so have a setting here for the reverb. Again, you can save here any settings you've done, and then load them into another reverb that you have set somewhere. So in order to get the send working, we need to go over here to the gain to send effects, turn on the channel. That's channel 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll turn on channel 1, and we'll give it some volume. So as you can see, we've got a bit of reverb coming in now. Okay, that's the effects there. Go back to the granular. Okay, again with granular you can sort of save, load and apply bits that you've done on other channels. And now what we can do now is have a look here. Here you can save everything that you've done in the full virtual drum. So you've set up, say, I don't know, 20 channels with different effects in, different samples loaded up. If you want to save the full thing, you click here and save it from there, name it, and then you'd load it up, and then once it's loaded, click apply, and then that would apply everything to virtual drum of what you saved. Here you can click to go to our Facebook page and like us, or just see what's going off, what's happening. And here you can click to get more samples. That takes you to the website, to the sample banks page, to have a look at what free and premium samples we've got available at that time. And then here we have the record button. Now we can't just click record here and it'll start recording. We have to arm each channel that we actually want to record. So if we go here and we'll arm that channel and we'll name it and we'll decide what sort of file it's going to save it as. Save it as a .wav and we'll name it, say, and I'll just save it to the desktop there. So that's ready and armed, and then once we've armed all the channels that we want to record, simply click record. That'll be recording that channel now, and then when we've done, click record again, and you'll see that's de-armed the channel now. So if we go to stop this, place it to the desktop, so it's brought it here. So now we can just click on that, and it should have recorded it. If not, I'll have a look and I'll fix it, but hopefully it will do. There we go. Okay. So, is there anything we've not covered yet? Nope, I think we've covered everything there. Oh yeah, we'll just look at some of these going while. So as I say, you've got your pan there. Bring it back to the centre. Mute the channel. And there we go. That's Virtual Drum Electro Pro.